Well, Mom gave us all a more interesting life. And since Mom had been dying for a long time, I'd come out to visit her many times. And we both knew that one of those visits were going to be the last one on Earth. And over the years, we've had a lot of opportunities to say our goodbyes. And I'm sure Mom would have hated to have such a public goodbye today, preferring instead for me to send off a letter into heaven that she could share with her new saint friends and point out my punctuation errors. When people ask me where I grew up, there's no easy answer for me. Because as most here know in the Newman Center, I didn't grow up in a where. I grew up with a who. Having attended 11 schools in 12 years until my senior year in high school. That meant I grew up in wherever Mom and Dad and my two brothers were, and that shift in location after location meant from going from California to Mexico, to California, to Vermont, back to California, to Eugene, to Guam, around the world, before going back to Vermont, to California, to Eugene, and then finally leaving the family who, because Mom had such an immense interest in discovering the world and the people around her. It was a gift that I cherish from my memories now as a child as I wandered around Eugene the last few days. Mom was also completely crazy. She was out of her mind. And she loved to tell me one question about her sanity, often, that she had all her marbles. In fact, I remember her telling me that in our last conversation, last month, as we chatted for the last time. Truth be told, Mom never did have all her marbles. She gave them away. Mostly to my dad, whom she cherished, to her sons, and to those who she latched onto and claimed as friends. Now all of us here at the Newman Center will hold on to those wonderful marble memories and remember mostly her laughter that she brought to so many lives.
Mark, I'm not going to talk about Mom being crazy because as a psychiatrist I probably shouldn't comment on that. What do I say in 2 minutes? She could write a poem that would take a few moments to read and take a lifetime to enjoy its rugged simplicity. So I cannot ask her to help me write this or say this at this point. In Bob Welch's blog last week, or perhaps it was the week before, I mentioned it. Many people, and it's been mentioned this afternoon, saw her as a writer, a poet, humorist, intellect, wife, teacher, and a lover of all that is Irish. I wrote that although all those words described her, there was one glowing omission, and that was she was my mother, my mom, and my brother's mother as well. And what I recall, what's seared and printed in my brain about her is those things. And one of the most important ones as I was growing up and really imprinted into me was she was a defender for me to the world at large growing up. Some examples: when I was 3, I talked very little, still part of the family folklore, and people thought there was something wrong with me. But my mom defended me to others and said she knew I was smart and that I wasn't slow. I think she got that one correct. Yes, I have a dry sense of humor. When I was 4, she tried to quiet my brothers and others who were teasing me mercilessly because I thought the firemen burned her home down when we were away. You see, I was 4. Why would you call them firemen? That's what they do. Why wouldn't you call them fire put her outers? That's what they're supposed to do with their fire put her outers. She told the other scoffers to hush up, and they did. When I was 7 and worried we were lost on a family drive, she consoled me not to worry. She accepted and defended my decision to play tackle football for 7 years because I loved it, even though she must have worried every time that I'd get hurt. At 14, I was in tears after an orthodontist said nothing about my braces coming off when they were supposed to come off. I had them on for 7 years. So I came back home on my bicycle in tears. She promptly told the dentist to get them off. At 15, she defended me from an inadequate high school teacher who tried to blackmail me from the Honor Society because he wrongly accused me of some dastardly deed. He lost that battle. She defended me. And at 17, she helped and defended my decision to go into the Army in an ROTC, despite knowing full well I could come in harm's way. And just a little context, I began becoming interested right in the waning part of the Vietnam War in 1974 and 75. When she became frail and weaker this fall, I knew her days would be few. As a physician, I really understood it the last couple of months what was going on. And I wanted Jesus to defend her, to be her advocate to our Heavenly Father, or for him to be the advocate to our Heavenly Father. I always found it hard to witness to my mom about Jesus. She was so much more adept at words than I could be, and probably everyone in this room. But for years I prayed that other people would enter her life. My wife did too, that they would bear witness for her need to know Jesus and God personally. Near her last days, I know those prayers were answered by several people in this room. From the example she set forth to me, I defended her in prayer, and I believe now she's dancing with angels and Jesus. Mom, you taught me well.